consistency, your persistence and perseverance, because not many people can swim against the tide. So thank you and my respects for what you've been doing all along. Since your effort for the book In Pursuit of Peace, which you started last year, it's an anthology of essays by veteran and I would say not just veteran but also young thinkers, experts from both India and Pakistan. And I had assumed that in the last 1 year, when you began that initiative of inviting papers for India-Pakistan dialogue and peace, both countries, in fact, the intelligentsia of both the countries would have a little bit, perhaps, would have self-introspected. And I had expected that the intelligentsia of both the countries would show more intellectual honesty than they have in the last 75 years. Because I thought that the book which you brought out had several insights, and especially at a time when the world is at a turning point, it's about to enter into a new world order. If we look at the discourse in the entire world today, we see that the biggest superpowers are actually reflecting not only on their accomplishments but also on their failures. They're also reflecting on the sins and crimes that they have perpetrated against the poor of the world since the last world order was set, which was certainly after the post-World War II. But it's very unfortunate that I don't see much of self-reflection either in the Indian intelligentsia or in the Pakistani intelligentsia today, even as you made the effort to bring out self-introspective or self-reflective insights on India-Pakistan relationship to your book. All I heard today was the same platitudes and rhetoric that we've been hearing for the last 75 years. We can keep talking, we can have this dialogue till cows come home, and we can also have the same wars, the same conflict that has been going on for the last 100 years. And I say last 100 years because both the communities, Hindus and Muslims of the Indian subcontinent, have willfully chosen to be the pawns of the colonial rulers, perhaps for the last 2 centuries. That attitude, that approach, that understanding of their own identity, their own interests, their own land and people has not changed. And I can see it right here today, I can see it across the border as well. Both the intelligentsia are giving a free pass to both the political and the security elite of both the countries. Our good friend Air Marshal Kapil Kak said both the countries lack trust and cooperation. Forgive me, sir, both the countries' political and security elite are fully cooperating with each other. They have been, there's a pact between the two elites across the border, and they have fully trusted each other. They willfully chose to be the slaves of the British colonial masters. They have willfully chosen to be the slaves of the American empire, and now they're willfully perhaps also going to be slaves of the Chinese set world order in future. The issue is simple. There is a class issue here, and I can see that the political and the security elite of both the countries have very conveniently used people of Jammu and Kashmir as cannon fodder. We've been the victims and survivors, some of us are survivors, of the devastating policies of both Indian and Pakistani political and security elite. Nobody has the courage here to question the policymakers of both the countries who have willfully, consciously used people of Jammu and Kashmir to one, create the conflict of Jammu and Kashmir, then also to perpetuate that conflict, use them as cannon fodder. It's not going to stop in Pahalgam. It has not stopped in Pahalgam. It continues till date. And yet, the charade of having a dialogue or not having a dialogue, both are charades.
Please continue.
So, ultimately, I'm going to say this. Both Pakistan and India have almost around 2% of its GDP going to their defense budgets. This vast military-industrial complex, which is led by US and Israel, is exploiting both the countries' poor. It's the middle classes, it's the lower classes of both the countries who are victims, and the security and the political elite of both India and Pakistan have been part and have been beneficiaries of the military-industrial complex of US and Israel. Unless and until you acknowledge those truths and bring those home truths to your people, you will not be able to resolve this issue either through dry dialogue or through indifference or through war. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have one Pakistani and then you, Mr. Raghav? Will some friend from Pakistan offer his comment now? Who would like to offer?